It's back. He's in the background helping, so we are going to have a final god of the day. I'm gonna say that for the next 10 videos. We're going to do blah 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 Lord Ganesh. Now I could have done him earlier, but I wasn't sure. But you can read about him anywhere on the internet, so I'm not going to try to go in too many of the stores, except for there's one that's my favorite. His mother's Parvati, and when he was a baby, think of this cute, adorable baby with the little tiny elephant's head. Um, he was kind of naughty, naughty little toddler. He has a mischievous side, and he didn't know how to really be nice and gentle yet, so she decided to treat him a lesson. And she changes into a cat and she goes by Ganesh. And Ganesh sees this cat and he's like, Kitty! You know how kids get. And he's pulling the cat's tail and the cat's crying and trying to get away. But she's a very gentle goddess, so she's not scratching him or anything. And the more the kitty cried, the more fun the game was. And finally she squirms and she runs away. And, he's a baby and he's chasing the new toy. And she gets away from him and he goes home. He's bored. And he finds his mother all bruised, and he says, Mama, Mama, who did this to you? Because remember, he was created to guard her bath. And he felt terrible. He wasn't there to save her. And she says, Well, you did this to me. I was the cat. You have to be more gentle, my child, with animals, with all things. So after that, he was ashamed and he agreed that he would henceforward be kind to all animals, which is why he's great with animals. He's considered the opener of the road, the key to success. In fact, Ganesh has to open everything for you if you're a believer. He has to open the way and you greet him first. It's kind of that Legba thing of greet him first or he'll just be like la 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 and have one little finger on whatever you're trying to do and it won't go and it won't go and won't go. He's been creeping around as quietly as Ganesh can creep, and I know he's been up to his mischiefs. He will play little tricks on you, but you'll get this happy, uplifting energy, and that's how you'll usually know it's Ganesh. He loves a joke. He loves a good laugh. He's utterly delightful to work with. He can be serious because he's a god of learning. And he can also be, he will be the one to come in, like if he sees me getting way out of balance, because today I was like pinging from one extreme to the other, because Dambala and I have had relationship problems in the past, so I was pinging from one extreme to the other, and finally Lord Ganesh steps in and he stopped me and he's like, you can't do this, you have to be balanced. And he does this really heavy accent he puts on because he finds it hilarious. The closer he can get to Apu from The Simpsons, the more hilarious it is. In fact, his favorite joke is ding dong, thank you, come again. And he does that pop-up thing and I'm like, you can't do that. Why? That is hilarious. So, he finds the character of Apu hilarious, and every time I'm making rice, we always put peanut butter in it. And I will go to put peanut butter in it. He will go, are you trying to insult me? Don't feed peanuts to my deity. And then he'll start to laugh and laugh. He finds it hilarious. He has a good sense of humor. And since he was created by Pavarti by his mom. Sometimes I have trouble speaking by his mom. He is still considered, you can consider him son of Shiva. And Shiva, of course, did not like this obstinate little boy child who refused to let anyone near his mommy's bath because he didn't know who Shiva was. He just knows this big blue god storms up to him with his trident and his "Rawr! Let me through, you little brat!" And he's like, "No!" So Shiva lost his temper, which Shiva can, and decapitated Ganesh. And his mother comes out of the bath after she hears all this commotion, and she goes, "What did you do to our son?" "Our son? I created this boy to watch over me, and now you have killed him." "One second, please. I'm working on his rights. He's good at getting his stuff." So his mom's enraged, and his mom goes, "You have to fix this. You must do something." And for whatever reason, they can't put his head back on. I think the reasons vary, but they can't just take his head and put it back on. That would have been the easiest thing. And so, Shiva has to run out and this is a terrible part for animal lovers. He finds a baby elephant. Some say the baby elephant was already dead, so no harm was done. And he takes the calf's head and he puts it on the sun, and a miracle happens, and Ganesh is up and playing, and it's like nothing ever happened. I'm sure he was very cross with his father. He's not like scary, but he can't have an elephant's temper. It's like usually he's very good and he's very sweet and kind, but you do not want him to go into warrior Ganesh. You don't want to see that happen. But he is usually a sweetheart, and he's the one that will come in and he can create harmony. He can facilitate learning, so a lot of students love to pray to him. He can give you success, really success. I think health too. Really, Lord Ganesh can do whatever he wants to do. And if you look up, like, I keep adding to the holiday mix. If you look up songs for Diwali, they have, obviously they're going to honor and salute him at Diwali too, and many other times. He's one of those deities where he really doesn't care. He's not going to ask you to, move somewhere and take up a new religion or only work with Lord Ganesh. He's actually more about coming in and making sure everybody's harmonizing. And Loki's favorite trick, because of course Loki's going to be in the video, is to go get Ganesh. Because you guys know, I have a tendency to be all or nothing. I'm either including everyone, or today I had a meltdown. I was like too much everyone. And I was trying to cling to Loki and Odin. They were pretty indulgent for most of the day, but then they're like, no, you have to get back out there. You fought for this. This is good for you. You have to get back out there. I'm like, no! And they had to have Ganesh come get me because they know he can cute me into anything. He will use the cutes on you. He will always use the cutes on you because he knows it works. He's charming and he's clever. He had a contest with he has at least one brother, and he had a contest with his brother, and they were going to race around the world for their parents' blessing. And he's very clever. And his brother took off, and it really wasn't fair because his brother has a super fast mount. His brother's like a speed demon god anyhow, and he's going super fast, and there's no way that Lord Ganesh on his tiny mouse is going to, keep up. But he was smart. He walked around his parents. And they said, what are you doing? And he looks at them really cute and adorable, and he goes, you are my world. And they were like, damn, that's the cutest thing I ever saw. So they gave him the blessing, and his brother came back, and he was angry because he's like, you let him do this all the time. He just cutes people into stuff, and you let him do it. And they're like, well, he was clever, which is important in a god. He can, some people say, like he's had different stories where he's had lessons to learn too. So he's learning and growing as well, like with the cat. And, I can't think of a specific story, but there are stories where, he had to learn and grow and develop too, because he started off as a little baby and, onward. He's a really good god to work with if you work with Loki, because he can come in and be that balance, and he can be the one to get me going when, Loki has a really bad tendency with me that we both stall. We both stall and we don't do anything and we're not getting anything accomplished. And Odin's not helping. Odin's just standing by, watching, observing, silently judging both of us, but he's not helping in this really insulted wolf energy. Ganesh is the one who will come in, and especially now it's the holidays as I'm recording this. We're going to have Hanukkah and Yule and Christmas, like all practically within a week's time of each other. And Diwali is weird this year, that it happened like weeks ago. Remember last year, like Diwali was like really close to the holidays, really super close to Yule. Well, it didn't happen this time. It's like sometimes there's like this song on the holiday playlist. Hanukkah lives like really close to Thanksgiving. So it's one of those crazy things. It's, sometimes the holidays are fall apart, but they don't care what day we celebrate just so that we celebrate. So he's also a god. At least for me, though you're not going to see this as celebrations, he definitely does like parties. He likes food. There are tons of recipes online that you can look up, and you can, learn to cook his favorite foods. You're not going to go, well, wrong with sweets. He is vegetarian. Before you cook for him, he is vegetarian, and he would take vegan food as well if you like. Though he will drink his milk. He loves his milk. There's this phenomenon that was going on for a while where hand to goddess people would put milk out on the altar, and he would be knocking back shots of milk like you couldn't believe. It went on for a while, and then it seemed to taper off. But he loves his milk. Anything you give him with love. Anything you give him with love. His favorite game with me is to show up when he knows I'm cooking something that's not vegetarian and go, "Can I have some?" Lord Ganesh, you know there's meat in here. What is meat? An animal died. He has fun with it. He has fun with it. He loves tormenting me. He is, though, big about health with me. I don't know if other people have experience, but when I was vegan, I got extremely, extremely sick, guys, and I was doing all the stuff. I spent a small fortune on doing this stuff right, because you gotta be kind of rich to do veganism right. I don't care what people say. To get all your vitamins, supplements, and all the stuff you're not getting from meat or dairy, you have to be kind of rich, because you have to be taking supplements. You have to be eating these food combinations will drive you up the damn wall. You got to be eating sometimes more leafy dark greens than you ever wanted to see, and so forth and so on. And that didn't work well for me. So I went back to vegetarianism for a while. And I do a lot good on there. And I still have meals. Sometimes they're naturally vegetarian, naturally vegan. But he was like, you have to, at least for a little bit, every so often have meat in your diet. Now I just have an omnivore diet, whether a meal is vegetarian, vegan, or omnivore. It's just like it's whatever I was hungry for, and that way I don't have to worry about it. So I hope you guys enjoy that. It's not the longest one, but I think I'm going to give you a link to a really good article about him. At least I think it's good. There might be people who have practiced with him for 30 years. You know what? Scratch the link. There might be people who work with him for 30 years. Look at that go. We don't work all the time. He comes and he goes like the wind. He comes when he sees I'm out of balance. But he's really sweet. I have one little tiny thing somewhere for Lord Ganesh, and he's fine with it. Somebody asked me about Shiva. I do have a statue for Shiva, but we never have really worked very often. The same thing for a lot of the other ones. Except for Kelly. I work with Kelly a lot. So if you guys like what you see, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.